The following Let's Play has been rated not safe for young children. Any attempts to break the game are for entertainment value only. However, if any typos happen to be found,
I've kept it a secret. I haven't played it myself, so...
No, actually, we don't even know the title of the game, so whenever we go to load here...
Okay, go
Actually,
load.
are we going to go to load, or are we going to go into game? And,
Well, let's try to load it first.
yeah, and see if there's a password on it.
Yeah.
Alright, but I'm not cheating unless I have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, like, we would have to do it with the ISIS game since it freaking...
Load.
No!
No! No! Why?
Whoa! What's wrong? What's wrong?
It's the sequel to The Door!
Y'all don't like the door?
Valve!
Well.
Why? And it's password!
Okay.
Oh, no.
hello everyone! Welcome to my 100th episode! Boo! Okay, for those of you who missed it, or if you don't remember, and if you don't remember, you have a memory worse than I do, but for my 100th episode, I decided to have a little poll going on, asking people to choose one of three crappy, terrible, awful, never wanted to play them RPG Maker 1 games. And unsurprisingly, the winner of the poll happens to be, well, it's Door. It's Door the game. It pretty much smashed the other two. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most of the votes were for Door, well, obviously. And it only comes naturally. Of the three games, Door is relatively recent. Not to mention that it was created by somebody who's still in the community, not to mention that somebody happens to be leading half of the console RPG Maker community. So, yeah, no surprise there. I will say that originally I had thought that no matter which game would wind up being chosen, it wouldn't be all that bad. But as the votes started coming in and becoming apparent that Door the game was going to be the winner, I remembered at one point, I managed to convince Drew to try Let's Playing Door the game. He was gone all of 5 minutes before coming back and quite specifically telling me, I can't do this. That scares me! And so, without further ado, I present to you all the obligatory no. No! Wait, stop. Forget the intro. If we're going to do this, let's get this over with. Well, at least it didn't take long to load. Okay, this is the first time I've seen this game, so... Door the game. You know, that background image just makes me feel all peaceful, but it's a trick. It's tricking you into thinking that this is gonna be a calm, serene, enjoyable game. You lie to me, title screen. You totally lie. And if you were wearing pants, they would be on fire right now. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me? Is there even... There's no music playing. I was expecting music. I'm not gonna complain, because this means there's not gonna be a song that gets stuck in my head, but... That would be... Is that... What? Oh, that's Gobbly. So does he have Gobbly stats? No, he has no stats. He's just a goblin with Gobbly's name. He's got nothing. Well, if we're going to be doing this, we might as well have a background color that... On second thought, let's just keep it green. When am I ever going to use the menu? What? The walls are meowing. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, Volcasus! Did you make the collision sound effect a cat meowing? Oh. Alright, where's the first door? So far, this is mostly as expected. A giant map, I can't see anything. However, there are no doors. Where are the doors? I did not expect the doors to... Did I bump into something just there, or did I just let up on the controller? Door... Okay, that's the edge of the map. Really? I mean, I was kind of expecting invisible doors to come up at some point, but not in the first level. No wonder Drew couldn't play this. Alright, well, in order to make this as not a terrible experience as possible for me, I have taken some precautions. First off, I have used the restroom prior to playing this. Second, I would have with me several bottles of Yoo-Hoo. I really hope I don't have to be pressing buttons in order to be finding these doors. If this is what the first area is going to be like, I can't imagine what the other ones are going to be like. The doors are here, right? I didn't, load a false memory card. Are the doors moving? I really hope the doors aren't moving. They need to be stationary, or else I have no chance of finding them. Alright, time to tackle this systematically. I'm just going to travel up and down, column by column, and hope that there's a door sitting still where I can find it. But anyway, got several bottles of Yoo-Hoo. It's probably not a good idea to drink all 4 of them in one sitting, so I'll probably only wind up drinking 2 of them, but, you know, I'm gonna need them because... Well, I'm doing this a bit differently. You saw my last episode, right? The last episode of Spiritus. How I played through that whole episode without editing anything out. Well, this is going to be taking that to the extreme. Nothing's going to be edited out, and this is going to be... Oh, I don't know whether I want to call it a marathon run or an endurance run. Probably endurance. But basically, I'm going to play this until either I beat the game, which is suddenly looking not as likely, or I go crazy and run away screaming. Or some variance of. Gotta have a fallback. So why again did you want me to let's play this? I mean, out of all of them, this one's clearly going to be the least interesting. At the very least, I was expecting music, but like I said, like I might have said, I can't remember if I said. I don't... At least this way I don't have to worry about a song getting stuck in my head. Anyway, after this Let's Play is over, I'm going to give myself some R&R. I got myself some pizza rolls. Haven't had those in a long while. And with them, I'm going to be watching a movie because you can't really eat something like pizza rolls without having something to watch. And so I've got from Netflix, Ratatouille. So, yeah, after this is over, at least I'm going to have something nice to eat and something nice to watch. I'll probably get heartburn from those, from the pizza rolls, but, you know, at least Well, at least they'll be enjoyable. I just need to make sure I don't go to bed with heartburn. Stay up a little while. Okay, at this point I'm pretty much tapping the button in hopes that I do in fact find a door by pressing a button, because this is kind of ridiculous. You think I would have found a door by now? Please tell me that all I have to do is step onto the door, because that would be really nice, instead of having to press this button over and over again for several hours straight. Tell you what, I may not be going to be having a song stuck in my head, but I'm sure as that going to be hearing a cat from time to time for the rest of my life. Why did you guys make me play this? No, I would have much rather have played Legend or Where's Vivi. I mean, everybody knows Door, but people are saying, lots of people haven't played Legend, and some people haven't even heard of Where's Vivi. I just know that Where's Vivi is kind of crappy, because whenever it was rediscovered and re-uploaded, people were all, no, and that sort of thing. A few people were. So it had to have had some sort of terrible history. But it would have been a lot more interesting. Okay, seriously, well, it's definitely obvious why Drew couldn't play this. But I'm really hoping that something didn't corrupt. Because I hadn't used my Dex drive for a while, so I figured, so whenever I tried using it and putting it on this memory card, it was loading it onto the memory card very slowly, and then it was all, this memory card needs to be formatted, even though it already had stuff on it. And then I started reformatting it, and it wasn't doing anything, and it wouldn't let me access, so I had to Control-Alt-Delete myself out of it. Load it back up again, readjust the memory card, reformatted it. This time the reformat it was quick, and so was putting the thing on the thing. But it makes me wonder if there was something else here. If there's some sort of corruption going on. Because seriously, shouldn't I have found a door by now? Oh no. Please tell me there's more than one door in here. That's gonna really suck if there's only one door in here. Well, yeah, this game sucks. I figured this would be kind of boring and monotonous and redundant, which it is, and I figured, door of the game, it's not going to be that bad. The other two games, I'm probably going to find myself in frustrating situations, probably going to be glitches, probably going to have very unbalanced battles. But in the order of the game, all I'll be doing is wandering these nearly empty maps, hoping to find the correct door. It's gonna be boring. Crappy, sure, but boring. And that's what it is. It's boring and crappy. I was really hoping for something that would be more entertaining. You guys should have expected this. In fact, one person actually said that this game sounded boring, and so that person voted for a different game. How far am I? If this were test play, which I would totally be doing right now, I would be checking my coordinates by holding one of the buttons here. It's either start or select. It might be both. Meow! Meow. Meow. You know what makes this worse? To my understanding, the doors aren't completely set. They're actually a probability that you'll go to one location or another. I'm really hoping that none of the doors take you backwards. Is there going to be variety between the levels? This is going to be the one single level with invisible doors, and then, I don't know, another level is going to have invisible walls. You know, I was actually dreading the thought of dealing with invisible walls. But then I encountered this map where I can't see anything. And you know, I think I'd prefer the invisible walls, actually. Yeah. The boundaries of the map don't count. Those are always there. There's a limit to how far that you can travel on the map. It's 65 by 65 spaces. Generally, you can't see outside those 65 by 65 spaces unless you have it like this, where it's the ground. And nothing but the ground. So apparently there's a sequel being made. We've known about it for a couple years. I don't know if it's still being worked on. Supposedly, though, while this game was just completely random in its crappiness, Volcasis says that Sequel The Door is what it's going to be called, but sequel is going to have a more formulaic crappiness. However, I highly doubt that it's going to be as crappy as my own crappy game. Evil, the ridiculously long-named game created by Dragon of Great Dragon Gaming. Let me try that again. Evil, the ridiculously long-named game created by Dragon of Great Dragon Gaming in an attempt to win the RPG Maker Pavilion's Complete Garbage Contest. Volcasis has actually told me that he would be willing to play through Evil if I played this game. Incidentally, as I mentioned before, this is not only the game that I'm going to be that won the thing for the 100th episode, but it's also the one game on the list that was actually requested. So I get to kill two birds with one stone. I just hope I'm not one of them. Speaking of Evil, though, yeah, Volk said that he would be willing to play it. I'm kind of hesitant to actually ask him to play it, because I have my own sequel in the works. I can't remember what it's called, but it's my own garbage game sequel deal. And I can't believe I just coughed on mic. That's gonna suck. But then again, this already sucks. Why did you guys ask for this? Thing about Evil is, it's a more formulaic sort of... Well, the game is evil. It's not boring. It's not really crap. Or at least not in the way that somebody did a terrible job making a game. Evil was pretty much made to purposely make the player frustrated. I won't give too many examples because a lot of them I want to be a surprise. But at the start of the game, you have a situation where you're supposed to go into the castle. the castle is only open. The doors for the castle are only open during morning, and the game starts out at noon. The idea is that you're pretty much stuck being able to do really nothing aside from talk to townsfolk until an hour or so later, whenever it finally gets to morning. The funny thing is, I didn't really know what I was... Wait, was that a door? It's a door! It's not invisible! It's on the... How far is it? It's all the way on the right side. It's almost at the bottom. Yay! It's a door! They're not invisible at all. Next time I'm going around the border. Door found. So now we're at the desert level. I don't know if this is level 2, level 3, or what. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, I'm gonna go that far off so that way I can see as much of the bordered area as possible. I'm certain that we're gonna find an invisible door at some point. Okay, from there. Or we're going to find a situation where a door is actually walking around. Anyway, the funny thing about Evil was I did not actually know how RPG Maker 3 fully works, because at the time RPG Maker 3 was new. And by the way, Evil is an RPG Maker 3 game. Please let it be somewhere around the border. So, whenever I set the town to daytime, I thought that meant that it would start at day and then eventually go through night and, well, evening and night and morning. But no, apparently, hello door. Alright. So, apparently, no, that's not the case. Setting the time to a specific time of day in the town actually makes it permanently that time. Thus, I had this whole game that is supposed to be like 12 hours long or something, or maybe it took me 12 hours to make it, I'm not sure. 12 days? I don't know, 12 is involved somewhere. Maybe it was only 4 hours long. Anyway, as it turned out, I had this entire 4-hour or so game ready for somebody, whoever to judge. I think it was Volcasus who was supposed to judge it. Pretty sure, yeah. And it was unbeatable. You couldn't get past you couldn't enter the castle to actually make the game go along. So, which is kind of funny because it was supposed to be crappy. It's just funny that there was an accidental game-breaking glitch in this intentionally crappy game. Ah, here we go. This isn't so bad, now that I know that they're not invisible yet. Alright. So far I seem to be going through new maps each time, but anybody's guess? I forgot what I was saying. Well, eventually I'm bound to come across a point where it's, well, like I said, invisible door, which would suck. I really hope Volcasus didn't put in an invisible door. It's hard enough to find the one single visible door. You know what? That would especially suck, because unless no, wait. No, it would definitely suck. Because there's no such thing as an invisible graphic that you bump into, not unless you make one in Anime Maker. And there were no Anime Maker sprites for this, so here it is. I remember this cutscene. Oh poop, zombies. Alright, I gotta know what happens if you bump into one. Esteban. Oh, really? Esteban. Esteban. Is it going to turn out that one of the zombies actually has the door and you have to kill it to access the door? That would actually kind of suck. Esteban. Let me see if I can remember the title of the sequel for my crappy game. Evil, the ridiculously long-named game created by Dragon of Great Dragon Gaming in an attempt to win the RPG Maker Pavilion's Complete Garbage Contest, Part 2, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within the Temple That Only Dogs Can Access, or something like that. Wait a sec, that zombie's colored differently. Robert! Hi, Robert! Hey, key time! And some of these zombies don't move. Megan! Megan! Sent me back to level 1! Wonderful! So, the next question is, are the doors in the same place? I would say there's a pretty good chance that the doors are in the same place. Then we go diagonal. Pretty sure the door was somewhere near the top. So we have to go through all those again, but at least I have a relatively good idea of where the doors might be. Let's get all the way to the top and head down some and... well, might as well head all the way to the right. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in the upper half of the map, but we'll see. Anyway, Evil Part 2 is going to be even more evil than Evil 1, and I'd rather not spoil why. But on that note, it comes back to what I was originally wanting to bring up about why I didn't want Volcasis to try out to beat Evil 2 the proper way. Well, if there was a Evil 1 the proper way. If there was a proper way, because basically in order to beat Evil 1, you have to go into the editor and make it the right time of day. Of course, this opens up the possibility that someone will want to cheat and teleport themselves to where they're supposed to be. Okay, where was the door? I lost track of the door. Remind me not to run into any more zombies. Assuming that... well, actually, I can run into zombies. They just can't be the ones that are standing still. Oh, there it is. So it wasn't near the top. And you can't access the door from anywhere above the top of the door. And I can't really remember where this one was. I think I'll search out this one by going sort of counterclockwise. That's the sucky thing about these maps. You really don't have a good idea of where on the map you are. Not even whenever you're hitting the border. Unless you're in the corner, then yeah, it's pretty obvious where in the map you are. I can't remember if this door was along the border or if it was somewhere in the middle of the map. It was probably somewhere in the middle of the map. Didn't I find this door by actually just wandering around randomly, and there it was? Alright. Trying to be a bit more systematic about this. Anyway, oh, there it is. And now it comes to... What? Oh, they are random! Are you going to take me somewhere random? I've kind of lost track of where I've been and where I haven't been. I mean, I'm pretty sure I came across a map that looked like this. Alright, let's go down. Anyway, I kind of want Volcasis to play Evil 2 instead. Of course, Evil 2 isn't really done. In fact, it's not really past the planning stages, to be honest. I mean, at MagCon 2009, I think it was 2009, or was it 2010? It might have been 2010. I actually had planned on making Evil 2 at that point. I had ideas, and basically, I was planning on announcing it while I was there. But then, as the days went on, I figured, no. It's not really worth making Evil 2. Of course, Volcasis had this secret game that nobody really had any idea. Sorry for bumping the mic there. Nobody had any idea what the game was. And I'm back at the beginning again. Can I please proceed to the zombies? Also, I have no idea how long I've been playing. Okay, we're in the desert again. That's a good sign. I have no idea where in the desert I am. Alright, I'm there in the desert. I might wind up cheating a bit and getting a piece of paper and making note. Quick access routes to the doors just to get this over with faster. As long as I'm still got the endurance, though, I'm going to continue playing like normal. Anyway, I want him to play Evil 2 at some point. His agreement was he'll play Evil if I play Door, and he'll play Evil 2 if I play Door 2, sequel to Door, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I wasn't planning on doing the revealing it Evil 2 at MagCon at first. I figured wasn't really worth making, but then Volcasis came with us at this surprise game, and it turned out to be the sequel to the Door. Sequel to Door. There's the door. Zombies. It's this room. I officially hate this room because it's not guaranteed to give me any sort of progress. Anyway, then it turns out there was a sequel, The Door. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to let him get away with this. And so I decided to announce in that same video, Evil 2. Please bring me somewhere forward. Okay, we moved forward. Thank goodness. I never want to go backwards again. course, you just know I will. But as long as I don't go so far backwards that I'm level 1 at a time, I wouldn't mind starting back at level 3 or level... Actually, no, I do not want to go back to level 3 because that one has the door that can send me back to level 1. That sucks. Also, now is the point where my throat is getting kind of dry, and so I'm gonna take this first sip of Yoo-hoo chocolate drink. I really want to try chocolate soda sometime. I'm sure it's crap, but should be an interesting taste test, as long as it's not like bacon-flavored soda. I haven't tried bacon-flavored soda, but Lantis has, and he made a really funny video out of it. I'm surprised it didn't get much attention, actually. Uploads at YouTube are really hit and miss, you know that? The view counts and subscribers. For a long time, I thought it had something to do with how good your videos were. It's not. It's all purely based on luck or a magical subscriber count that you have to reach before the subscriber count actually starts pouring in. You've seen my videos. Okay, first I'm going to find the door, then I'm going to take a drink, and then I'm also going to check how long I've been recording. Figure out how often I'm going to have to restart or start a new recording. Where's the door? I thought it was going to be near the bottom. Apparently I was wrong. It's somewhere closer to the top. There it is. Zombies. No, I just wound up in the exact same map. I'm checking the time. And no, I'm not editing anything out. You're just going to have to deal with me being slightly quiet. Alright. I'm at 30-something minutes, and it's like 800 megabytes, or 860 megabytes, I think. Taking the drink now. It helps. Really, it does. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Okay, there's the top. There's the corner. We're just gonna go here and sidle on across like usual. Oh yeah, I was talking about YouTube. For the longest time... Oh yeah, I already said that part. Oh, there's the door. It's near the top. How fortunate. No! Oh, why do you keep doing this? You really have to have doors that send you backwards. Anyway. Ever since the start of my Let's Plays, not counting Jester's Hunt, I started trying to be a little special about them. And I was all being like, well, not super duper special. Basically, I started off with having the title. There it is. Glad that door's not hard to find. Oh! I made it to... Wait a sec, this is a different zombie room, isn't it? I don't know. Esteban, is that supposed to spell something? Nabets? Probably not. Alright, we're just gonna head over to the right side again. See, I kill you. Because you're moving, and it's safe to assume, I'm open to safe to assume, that all the zombies that are moving are safe to destroy. And I want to avoid the ones that aren't moving. Also, the really blue ones are okay. Anyway, I started off my videos with the title of the episode because, you know, I actually like that sort of thing. I can't remember if I had the Dracoon Creations logo at the end of my videos yet. That might have come later. Eventually, I started getting fancier with my videos, having the credit sequence, not touching you. All the zombies over here are not moving. Except those guys. Forgot how far over I was. I really don't... well, what is this? What? Oh, okay. Alright then. Where's this leading? Backwards? Yeah, I kinda figured. Next time I'll hit the blue zombie and find out what happens. You know, that was the most interesting map in the game thus far. It actually had something other than ground, and it actually had more than zombies. I totally cannot remember the location of the door in this room. So I'm going to travel up and down instead of side by side. Anyway, eventually I started getting fancier with my Let's Plays. But apparently that wasn't enough to really gather attention. My thought was, oh wait, did I just pass the door? I passed up the door. I wasn't even looking. I was sort of dealing with, I had my eyes closed there. Remind me not to play this with my eyes closed. But my thought was, if people came across my video and saw me doing fancy stuff, it's like, hey, this McPerson is doing some really fancy stuff with this person's videos. I should totally subscribe to this person. No, that wasn't really it. My thought was then, okay, so maybe the key is to have a really good commentary or an interesting commentary. And I just haven't gotten a good enough commentary. Lantis, who has been doing Let's Plays for a long time, often with SK, Lantis and SK are my favorite Let's Players. And they're really entertaining, especially Lantis and his... And so I figured, you know, finally YouTube eventually got rid of their time limit, and Lantis started uploading some of his episodes there. And it's like, oh yeah, Lantis is totally going to be right up there in popularity with, like, H.C. Bailey or somebody else that I like to watch. His viewership is just as crappy as mine. I went backwards again, didn't I? Gosh darn it. So, apparently it has nothing to do with how much effort you put into the video editing effort, or it has nothing to do with your how good of a commentary you have. It is entirely based off on luck. Basically, what's going to have to happen is you're going to have somebody who's popular come along and check out your videos and in some way inform others about your videos. Or you're just going to have to wait for a magical Let's Play subscriber count where eventually you'll have enough subscribers that all of them combined will have enough followers that they'll follow into your channel, and then that's where I just wandered into the same map again. Up until a point where there's so many they have enough subscribers following them that their subscribers eventually come to you. Which is depressing, because I've been putting all this effort into my Let's Plays for all this time, and it was all for nothing. My viewership, after 100 episodes, my viewership kind of sucks. Granted, a huge part of it was because for a long time I uploaded mostly to Vidler. There was a point where I would try uploading, a couple times actually, where I tried uploading to YouTube, just splitting apart my videos so that people could watch them, but this got really tedious and I gave up a couple times. And then finally YouTube opened up its removed the time limit for their videos towards the end of last year, and that's when I started really uploading my videos again. So to be honest, I haven't had a whole lot of time to get noticed. Still though, rather sucks. I almost didn't do a 100th episode special. Wait, where did I start out? Let's try this again. Go back all the way to the left. Okay, there we are. I almost didn't have a 100th episode special because I figured it wasn't worth it. My viewership sucks, why bother? Of course, eventually I figured that most of my viewership is the console RPG Maker community, especially thanks to Volcasys allowing me to post these RPG Maker Let's Plays on the front page of the RPG Maker Pavilion. So I figured, if I'm going to do something special, I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to have it where I'm going to have this special deal where I have everyone vote for which game I play for my 100th episode. Did I miss the door somehow? I'm going to have to stop traveling up and down and travel side to side instead, aren't I? Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to have to happen, isn't it? Alright, going back to side then. Oh wait, there's a door. It's all the way on the right side. Doesn't that figure? And I just traveled up whenever— No! Not again! Oh, I hate this room.